So first we need to understand what Torero does. And to do that, we need to look at a common situation that you'll see in most enterprises today. You have someone who's writing code. They have some sort of CI/CD pipeline, right? Or at least some sort of testing involved. And then after that, it goes to a Git repository where they create a release, or they have a certain hash that they say is the one that they're going to use. And then after that, things get kind of gray and murky. So if this is just me working on it, then I've got a local computer where I'm running this. I'm making sure I'm maintaining all my environments correctly. And if I have a problem, I start troubleshooting my environments and try to figure things out. If this is trying to be worked with a team, then maybe I'll have a server, and that server will run a certain set of scripts, but then I'll have to have another server, another VM, or another container to be able to do another set of scripts, because things just, can overrun each other and have problems. So that's where Torero comes in. Torero takes the code, it then puts it in a specific virtual environment designed just for that code, and then it creates a service around that. And that service is then something that can be given and distributed to other people. It uses the same process that you would expect to do yourself manually, but all does it automatically and through a single binary. So what happens now is you have the ability to scale to different teams. You have like the net DevOps. They might be writing the code and they have their own processes and do their own thing, but then they send it to a Git repo. Then you might have net engineering who might use those scripts to be able to not have to log into the command line to run a script to do a tool. And now they can create the services, and then they can create those services and hand them out to the other teams. You've got like operations or external teams, or what about the security team? All those different teams need access to the devices through an organized and prescribed set of environments. So now we create these services that are specifically tailored to these different teams. Great way to be able to use and understand the scripts in a large scale environment. And also, we have all sorts of capabilities to be able to scale. We can scale horizontally, we can scale vertically, and so you can now have thousands of scripts on thousands of different devices, all easily managed. But I kind of digress. This is a getting started, not a how to scale video. So let's move on and let's go look at how that actually looks from the command line. Okay, let's switch over to the command line. What we're going to do is we're going to first look at what we have. We've got a Torero file, single binary image, and when you download Torero, it'll come as a zip, but then you unzip it and this is what you get. When you run it on the first time, it'll ask you accept the EULA agreement, and it'll create a hidden folder under your home directory where it will install, where it will look for config files, it'll install its database, and it'll run the virtual environments and create them from there. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to link to the repository, and what this is we've got an example script set up on GitHub, and we'll reference it and set it up in Torero. Next, what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and create the playbook. So we'll say point to the Ansible playbook that's already in the GitHub repo. That'll be a hello ansible.yaml file. And then once we do that, now we can run the playbook. And the playbook is really simple, really straightforward to run. The first time you run it, it's going to take quite a while. It's got to download the scripts. It's got to pull it from GitHub. It's got to check the requirements files. And it's got to download Ansible and put it into a virtual environment before it can run it. So first time takes quite a while, and while we do that, I'll go ahead and show you where it's pulling from. So if you look here, we've got Torero dev example scripts. These are publicly available, so feel free to go do them and run this as you see fit. Today we're using hello ansible.yaml. You can see here it's a very straightforward file. It's just going to do a ping for localhost, and then it's going to print a hello world example. So once it pulls all the information, it'll run this, it'll give the output, and it'll have that service created. You can also do others. We've got OpenTofu and Python as well available here. So if you want to run those, you can go do those as well. Okay, we'll go back to Torero. We'll look at what's going on. Looks like it's still running it, and that's because this very first time it's going to pull it from the repository. After about 60 seconds, you can see that it runs it. That's great. Looks like this first one took about 68 seconds. That's because it had to pull all that information. And on subsequent runs, all it has to do is check the hash, make sure nothing's changed in the upstream repo, and if it hasn't, then it can run it really quickly and give you an answer back very shortly. That's 3 seconds. And that's it. Now you've run Torero services with Ansible playbooks.